And we are live.
Welcome to the Fantasmagorium show. On today's show, James Gunn discusses his future with Marvel. Black Widow continues to wow at the box office, and a very special message from William Shatner. How are you doing today, Steve?
I'm good, Scott. How are you?
I'm okay. Lazy day.
Lazy day. Yeah, I had a lazy day too. Not a lot of work to do this morning, which was nice. I could kind of focus on the show. So with that said, we do have a pretty news-heavy show today, pretty packed show. So hopefully everybody will enjoy that. But before we do, we always, start off the show with a little bit of house cleaning. And just for future reference, this is how we do our shows. Our show structure is pretty simple. We do an introduction. We go through, how you can interact with the show. Then we'll jump into like the topics of the day, news, some trailer reactions, watching reactions, and then we save the rest of the show to go to the comments and take your thoughts and questions. And that's kind of how we structure our show. So if you do throw in comments early, just know that we will get to them. But we try to save that for the end, just for the simple fact that if we stop every time to take these comments and questions, a lot of times they'll start diverting from the topics of the day, and we'll just never get to what we planned or brought to the show. So that's just kind of that.
Absolutely, and please, it almost feels like a show recap at the end with your comments, questions, and corrections, and we appreciate every single one of them.
We absolutely do. So, like we do every day, we ask you to please like, subscribe, and share. Subscriptions are good, like we say every day, but liking, sharing, especially sharing, and commenting really help the channel grow. If you'd like to leave us a tip, we are trying to save up for some cool stuff for the show. You can do so, www.streamelements.com/phantasmagorium-show/tip. Also, if you'd like to visit our website, we do have a website where we post up our shows, short clips. We also have a link to our audio-only podcast page where you can get our podcast in an audio-only form. To do so, please visit www.phantasmagoriumshow.com. All right, so that's down and out of the way, as people say. Let's dive right into it, shall we?
Yes, let's.
So first off, we have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. James Gunn is probably done with Marvel Studios after the sequel. Speaking with, I believe this was with comicbook.com. But they might have gotten it from one of the trades like Variety or Hollywood Reporter. But so he was asked, kind of what's next. He says, "I have no clue what I'm going to do." Gunn said, "For me, Guardians 3 is probably the last one. I don't know about doing it again. I do find because of the ability to do different stuff in the DC multiverse, it's fun. They're starting to really resemble their comic books, which is a plus." Outside of that, the Marvel universe has always been a little more cohesive, and DC has always had more great single runs. They had Dark Knight Returns, they had Watchmen, they had The Killing Joke, they had Alan Moore's Swamp Thing, which I love, by the way. The fact that they did Joker, which is a totally different type of movie, that to me is cool. I'm very excited about Matt Reeves, the Batman. They're getting some really good filmmakers involved. They're always going to be hit or miss. I just don't want them to get boring. So it looks like, obviously, he's going to praise Suicide Squad is coming out. He's not going to do anything to damage that relationship, and I don't think there's anything wrong there. I'm just saying, this is kind of expected, what you'd expect from Gunn at this point. Having said that, going back and kind of referencing what he said about 3, to me that makes sense. You do a trilogy of films, unless Kevin Feige and the guys at Marvel come to him with some completely different property. I would assume that he's not probably interested in doing like a Guardians 4, right? I think if there is going to be a Guardians 4, that's when you pass it off to a new director, get some fresh blood in that series of movies, and continue on that way. What are your thoughts on that, Scott?
Well, and I think that three trilogies, pardon me, trilogies are certainly the way that Marvel has been going in with Captain America, Thor, Iron Man, and then they nicely dovetail off into the Avengers and into the broader spectrum of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So, and even with Guardians of the Galaxy, they've had so many lineups over the years that it would make sense that if you did have a new lineup for the Guardians, why not bring in some fresh blood for a new director?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it isn't that surprising that, after Volume 3 he would be done. That's actually that's in line with what I was thinking. I think with most people were kind of expecting out of Gunn. I don't think this actually means what people are trying to allude to, that it means that he's done with Marvel. I don't think that says that at all. I think it says he means exactly what he says. I think he's done with the Guardians of the Galaxy, doing those movies. I think 3 is good. Like I said, I think if they came to him and said, you want to do a Nova Corps movie or some other movie that some other property, he'd be fully on board. So I don't think he's done with Marvel. I think he's just done with his run of Guardians movies. That's my take.
Absolutely. Yeah, and mine too. And also, I think that even when it came to Avengers Infinity War, he did some sort of creative consulting with the Guardians characterization, and some of the music, like the Rubber Band Man was a collaboration. So he there's always the possibility for input. I am interested in seeing the Suicide Squad. Me too. Like, in terms of bringing Starro to the big screen, I find that to be incredibly ballsy. And so, and that collection of characters, I think, are in good hands with Gunn. But I agree with him in terms of his thoughts on the DC universe, as well as being able to do one-shots. And it doesn't all have to mesh. It doesn't have to be a cinematic universe. You can just tell Detective Comics stories. Yeah,
in fact, I didn't put this on the list today, but the early reactions coming out for the Suicide Squad are insanely good. Good. Like so good that I haven't seen that for a comic book property. Usually the early reactions, for a number of different reasons, are very positive, but these are like Gunn's best work. Surprise, shockingly, gory and violent, and I'm like, okay, this sounds very good. So, probably like most of these films, it'll either hit you or it'll miss you, but this sounds like it's. I mean, that's a bold statement to say Gunn's best work, because he's done some outstanding films. So it'll be interesting to see, kind of where that lands. Maybe tomorrow during the free for all, we'll pull up some of those early reactions. We'll go over them when we're just chatting amongst ourselves. But I thought that was very positive. And it looks great. It looks like a bonkers James Gunn movie, which is right up my alley, right? I think Super and Slither are two of my favorite movies from Gunn. And obviously I do like the Guardians series.
Of course, yes.
Yeah. Next on the list, Black Widow crosses 100 million at the domestic box office in record time during pandemic. Which should not come as shocking, it says. Disney Marvel's Black Widow crossed the 100 million mark at the domestic box office in 6 days, which is pretty fast, making it the fastest to do so during the pandemic. Black Widow joins other titles in the pandemic's Century Club, including Universal's F9, 8 days to the mark, Paramount's A Quiet Place 2, 15 days to the mark, and Warner Brothers and Legendary's Godzilla vs. Kong, which took 12 weeks to hit the mark. So that was pretty fast. I mean, we knew it was going to be good. We knew it was going to do good business after it did like $13 million in its preview on Thursday afternoon. That's a pretty, for pandemic era. It broke that record, and that was large. So awesome, for Black Widow. Have you? Oh, you haven't? Did they open theaters yet in Canada?
Tomorrow.
So tomorrow. Okay. So
Tomorrow is the day.
You'll be going to the movies instead of hanging out with us tomorrow.
Unfortunately, it'll be after. Actually, no, because we have the Loki show over on Black Phillip Alvarez's channel tomorrow night. So I'm not 100% sure now that they're open. I have too much stuff to do, but no, right. I will be seeing it shortly.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So 100 million. I mean, not much to talk about other than that's the news. We knew it would hit the mark. Didn't know it would hit that fast, but we knew it was going to do good business. Speaking of good business, A24 is for sale. If you happen to have an extra $3 billion lying around, hey, let's buy A24. I mean, you know, so just write a check for me, Scott, and we'll handle that. I'll handle all the business arrangements.
I will dribble it over to you. Yes.
Thank you. A24 has a scrappy vibe, edgy taste, and is often cited as a standard bearer of a 21st century indie film studio, much to their competitors' annoyance. Rumors of a possible sale have trailed the distributor for months, including the kicking by Apple in 2018. Apple and A24 made a non-exclusive multi-year deal for their slate of films back then in 2018. So Variety, I think Variety just reported this yesterday, or maybe earlier today, that the 8-year-old A24 was exploring a sale, with Apple expressing interest. The price tag was a shock, $2.5 to $3 billion for an 8-year-old company, and it's the biggest. With its biggest hit is in Hereditary, that grossed 80 million worldwide. Understanding how that could be possible says more about the chaotic state of the entertainment industry and its new Hollywood tech overlords than it does about the company itself. So there's a little, there's a little bit of exposition thrown into that report. This comes from IndieWire. They obviously have a slant on big Hollywood studios, but they're not wrong. $3 billion for an 8-year-old company that's highest grossing movie is only 80 million worldwide seems like a lot. But I think Apple, if you look at Apple as a whole, when it comes to their entertainment division, and Apple Plus myopically, what you're going to see is they do prefer they're trying to go for quality over quantity, as opposed to a Netflix or even an Amazon. Mm-hmm. So this actually does make sense because A24 does put out quality work. Their films may not be tentpole, billion-dollar grossers, but they do make exceptional films with very edgy and cutting-edge filmmakers. Very auteurist filmmakers. So I don't know. 3 billion, maybe the right number for Apple. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Well, I think it's interesting. Just based on the conversations that we were having earlier this week in regards to those smaller movies that are getting made and original properties and original stories that are being told. And I think A24 is releasing those kinds of stories. And I enjoy that sort of counter programming to your big budget Disney fare. And so for $3 billion, it could be a prestige push. I think that there were a few sort of Oscar contenders and again, prestige pictures, and
definitely film festival darlings. Absolutely,
yeah. And so with that $3 billion, I think it's it may be a little high, but I think it's also a foundation for the potential that A24 has already really shown.
Yeah, no, I agree. So we go from A24's $3 billion to some very sad news. Yes. For those that loved the Tiger King on Netflix, and we're looking forward to Nicolas Cage leading the charge as a Tiger King in the drama series over at Amazon. Bad news. They scrapped it. They got rid of it, Scotty. They said, nope, we're not doing it. Amazon has scrapped plans to enter the Tiger King arena. The retail giant streamer has ditched plans to move forward with its scripted drama series based on the Netflix docu-series and a Texas Monthly article. Nick Cage. Yeah, we do. We don't change. Nick Cage was due to star as Joe Exotic in the series. So bad news. You know what? When they first announced this, I was like, dude, come on, that's perfect casting. I mean, that's perfect fan casting. Get Nick Cage. He is the Tiger King in my mind. He is Joe Exotic. But they're not. I think they scrapped it. So my question to you, Scotty, is did Amazon look at it and say, it was of its time and we're too late. We just don't think in now, if we put this thing out in 6 months or 8 months, whatever time it takes to actually get it in front of eyeballs, that people will even care. Do you think it was that, or do you think there was some other shenanigans behind the scenes that we just don't know about?
With Amazon purchasing MGM, that could have informed the decision not to move forward with it. Also, with Nicolas Cage playing Joe Exotic, again, I agree with you. Perfect casting, and the content, the story was there. But I don't know. It might have been it faded from the zeitgeist, and it wasn't necessarily something that needed to be told at this time. But it does seem that it is being shopped around to other outlets. So while it is scrapped at Amazon, maybe Joe Exotic is interpreted by Nicolas Cage, could still come, but maybe not as soon as we were all hoping. So
I agree in parts of what you're saying there, and sure. I also have a question about it was weird to me that they didn't shop this to Netflix first, right? I mean, that's where the docuseries came from. So does that mean that maybe they did and Netflix declined and Amazon pick it up in order to just now decline it again? And if that's the case, like you said, is it just too late? It's faded from the zeitgeist. It's not it's not like people are running around talking about Tiger King right now. I mean, when it came out, it was all that anybody could talk about. And it was great. I loved it. But is it a zeitgeist issue, or is there something about it, maybe even legal wise? Because I mean, these people are all in legal battles of the real people that this stuff is based on. Do you think it's just maybe too much of a hot potato, or is it just a slip from the zeitgeist issue?
I was thinking that it could have been the story itself. When the docuseries was on Netflix, it may have been a little bit sanitized, and I don't know with the involvement of Nicolas Cage if they would have highlighted some more of the adult content. And it may not have. Again, I think it could be the legal issues, as you mentioned, and it could be the mature content that could have frightened Amazon off of it. It now being the studio that owns James Bond, I don't know if James Bond and the Tiger King want to be in bed together.
Interesting. I don't know how much that really plays into it, but it might. You just don't know, But I thought that was interesting that they're scrapping it, and I think maybe because Amazon now said no, I think they're going to have a hard time finding a home for it. So I would be surprised if it actually gets picked up, and if it does, I don't think Nick Cage is going to come with it.
Well, and also you have to consider some of Nick Cage's recent films as well. Like, I know you and I are both very much looking forward to Pig, but that Five Nights at Freddy's movie, whatever that was, that didn't really set the world on fire. That's the one. Yeah. That didn't really set the world on fire. Nicolas Cage's career always sort of ebbs and flows in and out like the tides. Right now,
I almost, so now I feel bad that I didn't grab it. I almost grabbed. There's a story about Nick Cage talking about kind of his departure from Hollywood. You know what I mean? To go do these more indie kind of roles, and he basically says, "Yeah, I'm loving this little journey and this little pocket universe he created, to do all this wacky cool stuff that cool to him anyways. Maybe we'll get that tomorrow too and kind of toss that back and forth, but it would have been a good dovetail into that. I should have probably done that.
Well,
my apologies. I promise I will do better in the future.
Well, you don't have to apologize, sir. It is always time to talk about Nicolas Cage. We can talk about Nick whenever you want.
Right. Awesome. Okay, so that brings us to the first trailer I want to play today. This movie is called Materna, and this won the Tribeca Film Festival award. Their big award. I don't know what it's called. Excuse me, I just can't pull it right now. But it's the story of 4 women are bound together by a crazy subway encounter. And it's called Materna. So let's check that out.
When was the last time you spoke to your mom? You need to talk to her. Tell me, right now, what happened?
Remind me a lot of my mother.
Hey,
Don't
talk
curse in
about
front
it.
of my kid.
Right, cursing, because that's his problem.
What do you know about problems? I am never enough for you. I gave you everything.
What can I do?
You can love me.
You should
Stay
hear
right
some
where
of
you
the
are.
things he was saying to me.
There's no problem with my son. There is nothing wrong
What
with
do you
my
have
son.
been reading? Mein Kampf? Get out! Now!
So that happened.
That did happen.
It's closely observed, the Hollywood Reporter said. I like that description. Intimate, closely observed movies. Obviously, it looks exactly like a film festival winner, right? That it's totally it has that air about it. It looks intense. I don't know if the movie will actually be that way. The trailer was certainly intense.
Well, and with the awards and the recognition that it's getting, there must be some quality behind it. It does look interesting. I'm curious because the description does say bound together by an incident on the New York City subway. And they did not show me what that incident was. And so I want to see what happens with these characters, obviously going through some intense and very personal things. But I wonder what happens to draw them all together.
I don't know. Interesting, right? So
yeah,
I guess we'll look for that. It doesn't say where it may be playing or released on wide release, but keep an eye out for Materna. It looks like a pretty good one, especially if you're into those closely observed psychological portrait type character studies. They're good. I like them, so I'll probably check that out when I can.
Absolutely, yeah.
Next up on the menu today
Yes, sir.
is Star Trek legend William Shatner reveals which Marvel movie he wants a role in. Now, usually, this isn't news. Said actor wants to play in said movie. That's exactly what they do. right?
Yes.
These are people who get paid to be in movies. But it's interesting for on a couple of levels. First, it's Bill Shatner.
Yeah.
Second, it's Marvel. And third, it's kind of cool where he wants to go. You want to read this one out for us today, Scott?
Absolutely. Star Trek icon William Shatner has revealed that there's one Marvel Cinematic Universe movie that he would love to appear in. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Shatner was doing an interview with Express UK and was actually asked directly if he would like a role in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. In a manner that only William Shatner could pull off, the actor jumped at the chance to join director James Gunn's sci-fi superhero circus, telling the interviewer, "Yeah, I've guarded the galaxy many times." While Shatner is being cheeky in his response, he's actually making the exact kind of meta response James Gunn would love to incorporate in his film.
Right. I mean,
and I figure if you can get Hasselhoff, I'm pretty sure you can get Shatner. Mm-hmm. And the only thing that I would say off the top, of course, actor says they would like to be paid to act. But have you seen Shatner lately? And does he look 90 to you?
No. Yes and no.
That is, whatever the Fountain of Youth, whatever he's doing, it's going to be like, I am going to take the day off when he does eventually pass, and I hope it doesn't happen for another 15 years.
Yeah. This was great. It's pure Shatner form. Yeah, I've guarded the galaxy many times. Perfect. And it's a perfect answer. And if you are, let's say, softly auditioning for a role in a film that you want to be in, that was the perfect response. So absolutely. I'm hoping James Gunn's paying attention and get Shatner in the movie.
Yeah.
No, we had Hasselhoff, we had Stallone.
Yeah.
Let's get Shatner in there.
The world needs more Shatner.
Yes.
In my opinion.
Yeah. So number 2 potential Oscar winner type movie trailer on the docket today. This one's interesting. Justin Schoen is not only starring but directing this movie with Alicia Vikander called Blue Bayou. I watched this trailer, so I pre-watched it just because I didn't know what the hell it was. Usually, and that's fine, and we'll just put it on here and we'll both react together. But this one really caught my eye, and before I even really knew what I was doing, I was halfway through it. So here is the trailer, first trailer number 1 for Blue Bayou. So that hits theaters September 17th. I thought that looked amazing after I got done watching it. I was like, wow, that looks like a powerful, movie.
Yeah, absolutely. And
very topical.
I'm a fan of Alicia Vikander. And I guess we are sort of rolling towards award season. Usually these things don't start dropping until October, November, but and I suppose September is close enough. So
right.
Yeah, no, that looks another intense, powerful drama.
Yep, absolutely. And Justin, not only starring but directing the film. The film looks gorgeous. So good on him so far, from what we've seen from the trailer. I'll be looking for that one in September as well. I think our last, is it? Let me double check. Yeah. So our last news item of the day is Netflix signals expansion into video games with new executive hire. Now, this is very interesting. Netflix has signaled its expansion into the world of video games with its latest executive hire, Mike Verdu. Verdu will serve as Netflix Vice President of Game Development and will report to COO and Chief Product Officer Greg Peters. According to Bloomberg, which first reported Verdu's hiring, video games should hit the platform within the next year as a new programming genre, akin to their rollout of documentaries and stand-up specials. Netflix doesn't plan to charge extra for the new edition, which is crazy, right? So are we saying? I didn't look. There wasn't any more real meat. No information in this particular report. Probably by now there's been a couple more reports out in the trades expanding on this. and maybe we'll revisit this later, but does this mean we're going to get get AAA type game on Netflix for no extra charge, or is it going to be the bargain basement games from 10 years ago? It's a big question.
It is a big question. I know. Well, there's the PlayStation Store and the Xbox Store, and then obviously when you're dealing with PC, you have Steam and other distributors as well. I am a Luddite. I am still a big fan of going to a store and picking up the disc and having it. I know that a lot of people are just downloading games for their preferred platform. But I think this is interesting. It'll be neat to see which titles are available. I know I do my Netflix through my Xbox. I'm sure that there are people out there who do it on their PlayStation, and certainly you can do it on your computer. So it'll just be interesting because it's that question of the cross-platform play. And if you have titles that are available on Netflix, does that mean that they are going to be available for everyone to play, no matter the platform? That sounds super interesting.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. And that's, I guess, you can pull my nerd card right now, but as somebody who's a non-gamer and the video games, any games I would play are console games, how does that work? So I'm assuming like Skyrim will be a title right next to, a Blue Bayou, and you can just click on it and start playing? Or is it a download? Or it's interesting, right?
It is very interesting, and I wonder if it would be sort of a time. Well, no, it wouldn't be a time-sensitive download. I think that it would just be an availability to you. Would you need additional hardware? Is Netflix going to start providing the controllers? Are they getting into a hardware situation? I don't know.
Yeah, right. Interesting. I'm just not sure what that looks like yet. So because we don't have any other information, I mean, all we could do is speculate, but that's very interesting hire. Very interesting that they're bringing, and they're calling it a genre, which is also very interesting. So it'll be somehow video games. They're getting into the video game business, whether that's bringing, premium titles through their platform, or I don't know. Are they going to start developing their own?
And will there be Netflix exclusive titles coming to Netflix only? And so if you do, first of all, you'll need the Netflix subscription, but I don't know how this works, but it sounds.
I don't know either.
It would be just to be able to open it up so that you'd be able to play games that are exclusive to PlayStation if they decide to make that on or release that through Netflix. Then as an Xbox owner, now I'm going to be able to play multiplayer games with people who don't necessarily have an Xbox. And
see, how awesome would that be?
It would be very awesome. And even then, I didn't even mention Nintendo. Is Nintendo going to offer their titles to Netflix, or are those exclusives going to maintain with your Nintendo console? I don't know, but I hope it opens the arena so that we can play with other people from other consoles without worry of compatibility. Yeah,
very interesting. I thought that was really interesting news. I'm like, okay, we got to talk about that. I know I'm not a gamer, but I'm sure most of our audiences are, and I know you are. So interesting times at Netflix. They obviously this has been tried. I think Amazon tried to launch a gaming type of platform that didn't really stick. A year or two ago, maybe a little longer than that now. But these things have been tried before, but and that some to success, most to failure. So it'll be interesting to see how that develops and what exactly the offering is.
And and having the platform is one thing, but as it goes with the history of gaming consoles, you got to have the titles, you got to have the games. So it'll be interesting to see what is released.
Right. And that's what, and it's all going to be part of your subscription. So that's why I'm like, are these going to be premium games available on the platform with your subscription? Or are we, is it, bargain basement type games that, is it going to be Oregon Trail? We get an Oregon Trail on the thing. It's just, I guess it all remains to be seen, but very interesting news nonetheless. One more piece of news, just real quick. As we like to do on the show, we like to bring you little tidbits of physical media when they drop, when we hear about them. Today, we learned that the 1990 film Misery, which is one of my favorites, is coming to 4K UHD from Kino Lorber Studios Classics on October 12th.
Excellent.
So, yes. So if you're a fan of Stephen King, if you're a fan of that movie Misery in particular, you can now pick it up on 4K. I assume that you can pre-order it now since they made the announcement. So I would probably do that so you don't miss out on your chance to get that.
Absolutely. Although I don't know if I want to see a hobbling in 4K.
Oh boy,
that is still. Oh, I still tense
it's
up.
It is one of the cringiest moments in film. I love it. I love that movie.
Oh yeah, and obviously she won an Academy Award for it, but one of Kathy Bates's best performances.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, one more trailer, and then we'll get to the comments and questions.
Yeah,
this trailer is another award-winning director, film festival director. And I'm not even going to try to pronounce the name. I'm just going to say, and if you want to, Scotty, you're more than welcome. But I'll say this is he's the Plume d'Or winner, and also starring Academy Award winner Tilda Swinton. This movie looks good too. So this one's called Memoria.
It's like a rumble from the core of the earth. Bang! And then it shrinks.
This is probably 6,000 years old.
Oh.
Yes. Drilled into her head to release bad spirits.
Right? So that's one of those weird, minimalist, slow burn film festival movies that look like one thing and turn out to be something completely different. Oh,
well, I don't know what it's about.
No, neither do I.
Okay, but Tilda Swinton is a fascinating actress to watch.
Yeah.
I've never seen her phone it in, and whenever she is in something, it does elevate the work. And no, I am not going to attempt to pronounce that name.
Right, it's a hell of a name. So from the director and Tilda Swinton comes a bewildering drama about a Scottish woman who, after hearing a loud bang at daybreak, begins experiencing a mysterious sensory syndrome while traversing the jungles of Colombia.
Huh.
So,
well,
what the hell's the bang?
I don't know.
But we will.
I'd like to know.
Yeah, we may find out what the bang is when the movie comes out. So interesting trailer. I always try to watch films from Neon, the company Neon, the production Neon. They make like A24 quality film that's usually just quirky and weird enough to really excite, my senses. So I always try to give them a look. They're not all home runs, obviously. Not every film's going to be, but they do make quality work, and that one looks pretty good. And I love Tilda Swinton. I'll watch anything with her in it, even if it's her standing in the jungle for an hour and a half.
Yeah, as long as I get that bong.
Bong. Yeah, every couple of every 4 beats, just give me that. All right, okay.
Yeah.
So let's jump over to the comments if you don't mind. And
Oh, not at all, not at all. Cam, hey bud.
Hey, Cam.
Good to see you. It says hello. It's good to see you too.
Hello. Next one. Hello.
Facebook user. Hi.
Hello.
You are ominously anonymous. James Gunn also said that Marvel is a lot more restrictive creatively compared to DC. So I think by boring, he's referring to the sameness of a lot of Marvel movies, or that a lot of Marvel movies have.
Yeah,
And
the restrictiveness is built in, and that doesn't mean that they're completely handcuffed. But Feige often says, that the the MCU is a thing, and we have to play within these boundaries. But you can paint within these boundaries as much as you want. I think he gives his filmmakers a lot of leeway in that, but it is more restrictive than DC was ever going to be with him. DC basically gave him the keys to the castle and said, "Do whatever you want. Here, you want to do Superman? Do Superman. We don't care."
Well,
so,
and with Guardians, with the Suicide Squad, that was announced and went into production shortly after his temporary removal from Marvel.
Yep.
And so with that, I can see how he would be a little bit more embracing or embraced by Warner Brothers. But yeah. There is a sameness to Marvel movies, but I find it comforting that I know what I'm getting when I go into a Marvel movie.
Yep. Yeah, me too.
And Facebook user says, Gunn even gushed about how DC's multiverse allows more unique ideas like the Joker. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
That film, I think that film was a surprise for a lot of people. Like, I know that when I saw it, I was like, how can you have a Joker movie without Batman? And they did.
They did. And it was great.
Yeah. Cam says, Scotty, you're R37. Gotta go get some ice. I'll be back.
Okay.
And it's good. Cam did get a show reminder today. So that is good. Cool. I'm glad everything is firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, and for some reason the YouTube, sometimes they'll take your subscription away, and then you'll be like, hey man, I'm subscribed to that. I just had that happen yesterday to a channel, and sometimes the notification bell they'll I don't know, deselect it for some reason. So kind of check in and hit that bell every once in a while just to make sure you know when we're going live. We do try to go live. Like we said, we try to keep this show very regular, Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern, or wherever that may hit you where you're at on the planet. But so we try to do that at the same time. But it's not always nice to have that bell just in case we do it. Sometimes we'll decide to just get a wild hair and we'll decide to do a special show maybe later at night, or we'll do sometimes we'll do clip outs and we'll pop those on. That way you can get a notification for one of the trailer reactions that we clip out, or something special that we're doing. So it's always nice to know when we're about to drop something or go live.
Facebook user says, is A24 actually financially worth that much, or are they just asking for a lot since they know these companies are shelling out for IP? That's well, and I think you may be paying for the quality of the as Steve mentioned. I think they are paying for the quality of the product, or they're asking for potential buyers to be paying for the quality of the product as opposed to the quantity. So Hereditary was a bit of a surprise, and if I'm not mistaken, I don't know, was Moonlight from A24 as well?
Yeah. Yep.
So
Oh,
I'm sorry.
yes.
Yes, it was, and so they have an Academy Award winner under their belt, and they are in the business of producing quality. So that could be what their selling point is.
Well, and just to be clear, yes, I do think it's quality, but they also know that big corporations like Apple and others are shelling out big money for IP. The problem is they're not really selling IP; they're selling a library of films. So it's a little different in that sense. They're not really selling IP in that way. I don't think Apple is looking to pick up their library in order to make spin-off television shows off of their which they might be the case, but I don't think that's the primary driver. I think they want to I think they want to acquire A24 as it is and have them continue pumping out quality films under this, and it may even be still under that A24 banner, A24, an Apple corporation or an Apple company, right?
Yes.
So I think that's probably what they want to do. But it's just my off the top guess.
And IP Facebook user continues, IP as in content for streamers and the quality setup A24 has to continuously make great content.
So yes. So
yes.
in that context, I think then we agree. Yes, that's what they want. And obviously, if you have that type of track record of quality that A24 has, you can ask for a premium. And right now, they know that companies like Apple, Amazon, and Netflix are buying. They're big buyers for that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think it's a little bit of both.
Well, and with that quality, and I know that Apple is more in, obviously they're streaming. I don't think that they have done any physical releases, and it may be an issue, or maybe a way to draw in the prestige cinema crowd into having that Apple Plus subscription. If you want to see the latest Academy Award winner, you got to get an Apple.
That's an interesting thought. If they may be pulling that A24 in to do those kind of movies specifically to be released in theater and to go after award seasons. So I mean, I'm not 100% there, but that might be some of the thinking behind the move and the offer and why the offer's so big, because it is a prestige company, at least right now, even though it's only 8 years old. I mean, you say A24, most people in our sphere, in this entertainment sphere, know exactly what you're talking about.
All right.
Okay. I think that's it for today, dude. That's all the comments?
I think so, yeah. And if everything goes according to plan, just a minor announcement, I believe Steve and I are going to be over on Cinema Twins channel later on this evening at around 9:30 Central. Twin Flicks. Sorry. What did I say?
Cinema Twins.
Cinema Twins? Twin Flicks. My mistake.
That's fine.
And so we should be doing that at around 7:30 Pacific, 10:30 Eastern, and 9:30 Central, as long as everything goes according to plan. So if you guys want, join us over there.
Yeah, absolutely. We got one more.
And one more, Facebook user says, I really hope Apple doesn't buy A24 because Apple TV content doesn't get physical media releases or digital purchase availability elsewhere. And that is one of my concerns as well. I know that I know people who wanted to see Greyhound, the Tom Hanks World War II film, and they are a huge proponent of the physical media. And if it isn't on Blu-ray or available on disc, then they won't watch it. And I think it is interesting. We're just streaming now. There are companies that are just going direct to streaming, and the physical media for some of those titles just doesn't materialize.
I hope Apple rethinks that. They probably won't, but if they're going to start acquiring companies like A24, putting, especially if they're going to put movies out in theater, I do think they reevaluate that stance of not doing physical media. If you do, especially if you're going to do movies in the theater, quality movies like that, to just the fact that it's a hard, fast rule that you're not going to do physical media release. I think that's that's just not a good business practice in my opinion. They probably see it a different way, but I hope they rethink that. Because it's not, that's no good.
Agreed. And
I know that I do. I'm sorry. I do realize that physical media is on the decline. Everybody gets that part, but it's never. I don't think it's going to go away, and I completely away. Right? Like you'll never be able to find it. So I really do hope that Apple rethinks that, especially like I said, especially if they're going to start acquiring A24s and things like that. It would be a shame to not have those movies released in physical form of some sort. We do have one more, right?
It is disappointing, but yes, Cam is going to close out the show. Thanks, guys. Think your channel is great. Hope the word gets out. I'll do what I can. Be well and take it easy. Thank you very much,
dude.
Cam.
Thank you very much. That's awesome. Yeah, we appreciate it. We do our best to bring you a good, entertaining show with some good news. Keep everybody in the loop on what's going on in the entertainment, pop culture. We have a great time doing it. I love doing this show with Scotty. We think we have good conversations. We hope you do too. And with that, Scott, I think that'll do it for us today. Keep it nice and tight, and we'll get out of here and we'll have a happy Thursday. We will be back tomorrow for Friday Free for All. Hopefully, we get a couple of our buddies to join us, and we'll have a rip roaring good time, as they say. And unless you have anything else, Scott,
not a thing.
I'll just say for Scotty R37, I am Steve Foley. Have a great day, everybody.
See you guys.